All right, so let's go ahead and test everything within this if statement. So I'm gonna collapse this and let's go back to the actual test. And right here, let's simply have a new test. And let's simply say it should not, and then save customer when already, or actually when customer exists. So let's, again, as I said, you're going to be stealing lots of code from your previous tests, right? So let's actually grab all of this. Actually, let's grab all of this. And then here, I'm going to paste that just like that. And right here, instead of saying empty, right, I'm going to say that first I need to extract this ID. So ID, there we go. And now let's simply say, instead of returning empty, I'm going to say new and then customer. And instead of empty, I'm going to simply return the actual customer, or actually optional dot and then of and then customer, right? So then, so right here again, let's take this when. So when this happens, what should we assert, right? So let's go back to our service class in here. So if this is true, right, we perform a comparison on the actual name, right? And then what we do is simply return, which means that this will never be executed, and also this will never be executed. So how do we test that this will never be executed? It's simple. Let's go back to the test, and then let's simply say then, and then the repository, or actually customer repository dot, and then should, and then dot, or actually should, and I think inside here, inside we can say should, and then never dot, and then save, right? So we can do that, and then here we can simply say any. So we can do that. So this is a valid case. So let's actually test it. So I'm going to run the test. There we go. You see that it works. Or we can simply say then, so customer repository dot should, and then have no more interactions. So you should really use this when you actually do this. So you should say then, and then customer repository dot, and then should, and then dot select customer by phone number, and then pass phone number, right? So then you can say that, right? Because this mock, if I collapse this so you see properly, so the mock had an interaction with select customer by phone number. So right here, oops, and then it had no more interactions. So if I run this, you see that this also works. But we can simply leave it like this because we know the actual method, right? That the customer repository should never save, right? And now if I go ahead and run this with coverage, there we go, 2 tests passed, and you can see that right here. So the class still 75, method, this increased a bit, and the line also increased. So if I go back to my service class and collapse this, you can see that now what is left to test is just this line right here. And that's what we're going to test next.